and welcome to Morning Sit with Rep Melissa. So today we are continuing our series this week on spiritual partnership. And I got some questions yesterday from yesterday's SIP about more about spiritual partners and more about the soul and how we facilitate or support the person that we're in relationship with, souls evolving. So we're going to get into all of that. So thank you for the questions. Like, keep the questions coming. DM me, text me, send me an email. I'm just thinking about someone gave me some notes that I should just give one way of being in touch with me. So DM me. How about that? Okay, so DM me your questions, your comments. If you have a particular topic that you want me to talk about as it relates to spiritual partnership or any other subject as it relates to the realm of spirituality, I will be happy to take a look at that. So, spiritual partnership. So, I want to take a step back and just define what spiritual partnership I'm talking about. So, the spiritual partnerships I'm talking about are love relationships, our relationships with our significant other, our spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, the person that you are in a committed love relationship with is what I'm talking about when I talk about spiritual partnership. And is that spiritual partnership grounded in you supporting each other in your own spiritual growth, right? So a lot of times we just jump into relationships. You know, we're just feeling good. You know, we're on that high and that honeymoon phase, and we just like going along just to go along because it feels good and we feel that we love this person, love is present, right? And there are no conversations happening, or there might be, are there conversations happening that are based in what your intention is for the relationship? So not from the place of like, what's the next step that we're going in our relationship? Like, are we going to get married? Are we going to, not that conversation. The conversation that is rooted in what is my intention in this relationship? What is it within me that I know is going to show up in this relationship that can manifest disharmony, unbalance, disagreement, right? Because we're in relationships, so those things are going to come up. But what we don't do, or sometimes what we don't realize we're doing in relationships, are bringing past experiences into the current relationship unconsciously, right? And remember about the law of thinking, the law of consciousness, our subconscious mind, right? That program that's running there can also be running in our relationships, right? It's not like all of a sudden everything is perfect, right? In the sense that you have resolved all of the issues that you need to resolve within yourself. You bring your whole self to that relationship. So what is the intention there? Are you holding an intention for that person to evolve, to grow spiritually, to recognize their wholeness and the path that they may need to take in order to do that? Are you on the path with them? Are you headed in the same direction? Like a real conversation about that, right? A lot of times we just make assumptions that the person is on the same page as us, that the person is on the same level of consciousness as us. And it's not until we're in the thick of it that we realize, there's a disturbance in the force. Let me take a step back and look at this. But is that person willing to take a step back and look at it with you and you for them? So someone asked the question, I got two questions that I wanted to answer. Someone asked the question, how is spiritual partnership a spiritual practice? So it is, because you're practicing every day with this person to be your best self, to be your best self, to do your work, right? And so it is a dedication to continually clear out the debris in our minds so we may remember our power and live in harmony and circulation. That's how spiritual partnership is a spiritual practice. It's keeping clear that stuff that clogs the flow. That stuff within yourself, within your mind, within your consciousness that clogs the flow of the relationship. Practice that every day, clearing out the clog, clearing out the upset, clearing out the disappointment, clearing out whatever it is that needs to be cleared out to keep that flow going. And are you both committed to making sure that you have cleared your clog before you engage with each other? So that's one question. The other question that came up was, how has Marco supported me in my, how has Marco grown my soul, or something along those lines? So one, no one can grow my soul, right? So it's about, and I might be getting it wrong, but the point is this, it's support. It's about support, right? So if we say that we're in a committed relationship with each other, and if we can articulate to each other what that actually looks like, because my idea of commitment and your idea of commitment can be two different things. And if it's not articulated, and if it's not demonstrated in our behavior, then it's something else. It's something else. So that commitment to each other's spiritual growth is really important, right? Spiritual partnership is a partnership between equals. That's important. For the purpose of spiritual growth. So I can say that Marco is committed to my spiritual growth. And how do I know that? How has that been demonstrated? It's been demonstrated over time, right? So that we didn't like all of a sudden recognize that we are in this relationship for each other's spiritual growth. That kind of evolved in our relationship. It evolved into a consciousness of spiritual partnership, right? And so in the evolution of our spiritual partnership, as I did my work and as he does his work, we came to recognize that there are things within ourselves that need healing, that need to be revealed and to be released, that were being played out with each other, right? On a very subtle way, and most of the time in a very subconscious way, right? So yes, what are our agreements about our relationship? What are our commitments? What is your intention for your relationship? Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your higher power, and your relationship with that person that you are in a spiritual partnership with, right? And it needs to be intentional. So let's say you're just getting in a relationship. You've been in a relationship for a little bit and you're thinking about, okay, let's be in a committed relationship with each other. And you just, bam, you're in a committed relationship. I would say at that point, have the conversation if you haven't had it yet. What does relationship mean to you? What are some of your unresolved hurts? What are some of your unresolved disappointments? Because they're going to come up in the relationship. the person that you're in relationship with is going to project back to you those things within yourself that need to be healed. That's why we are in relationship. We need each other. We need each other. We reflect back to each other. We provide each other with that information. Are you committed to me working through that? Am I committed to working through that with you? Right? A lot of times, remember that subconscious mind and our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is usually in the past or in the future. And our subconscious mind is the storehouse of our memories. And a lot of times, that's what is running our relationships. And so we need to recognize that, be committed to healing that and growing through that together. Is there a commitment? Is there a co-commitment to that? So I want to share something I give this book to couples. I used to give it to couples who were getting married, and now I just give it to couples. So when I'm working with couples and premarital counseling, I tell them they have to read this book, okay? It's a great book. It's called Conscious Loving, The Journey to Co-Commitment, a way to be fully together without giving up yourself. Because that's another thing that we tend to do in relationships. We give up ourselves. We give up ourselves, and it impacts the quality, the energy, the relationship. You can't give up yourself. Where you going? Right? It's there. You're there. So, what is co-commitment? A co-committed relationship is one in which two or more people support each other in being whole, complete individuals. The commitment is going all the way. The commitment is going all the way to letting the relationship be the catalyst for the individuals to express their full potential and creativity. In a co-committed relationship between two people, it takes 100% responsibility for his or her life and for the results they create. So we are taking 100% responsibility for what we are creating. I am creating this relationship. You are creating this relationship. Are we co-creating? Or are you over here doing your thing and I'm over here doing my thing? That's not spiritual partnership. There are no victims in co-created and co-committed relationships. In fact, victimhood is impossible when both people are willing to acknowledge that they are the cause of what's happening to them. There is little conflict because neither person plays the accusatory victim role. With the energy saved through lessened conflict, both people are free to express more creativity. A co-created relationship is one in which two people access more of their creativity as a result of their loving interaction. So what is it that we're co-creating together? Are you taking responsibility, 100% responsibility for what you are creating in your relationship? Or are you blaming it on the other person? He made me mad. Really? Let's check within. What's really causing the upset here? It can't be this person, really, because is this the first time you're having this feeling? No. So this is an old story. This is an old feeling, right? This is an old feeling that you're now projecting out into this person. And does that person have the commitment and the intention to stand there with you as you work through that, as you allow yourself to grow, as you allow yourself to realize that this is an opportunity for my spiritual growth and for me to heal that which is disturbing, that which I have been holding and not knowing what to do with. And now I do. And now I have someone who's in that commitment with me. So it ain't all roses and peaches and rainbows, right? It's a commitment. And so the commitment is your intention to hold the space for that person when they're projecting on you. You know, in love, that this don't have nothing to do with me. Now, that's not to say that there's not conversations that need to occur about how we're going to be with each other. Let's be for real. How are we going to be with each other when I'm in my upset? So I just want to share one quick thing. When Marco and I first got married, we quickly realized that we had totally different communication styles. Totally different. Didn't recognize this, know this before we got married, right? We were very comfortable in our silence with each other. And it was like a cool thing. Oh, I'm so comfortable being silent with him. He's so comfortable. We don't have to talk all the time. Oh, it's so lovely. You know that phase, like everything is just so wonderful, right? And then we got married and we had a conflict about something and he wanted to talk about it right away. I didn't. I wanted to be silent. I wanted to process it and I needed to kind of just figure all this out. But he wanted to be engaged in it. So now we're in a conflict about how we're going to resolve a conflict, right? Never talked about. So how do you resolve conflicts? Who has that conversation? But in spiritual partnership, those are conversations that need to be had, right? So we met a middle ground. What we decided to do was, because he had the need to get out what he needed to say right then and there. And I had the need to take a step back and kind of just figure this out for a moment before something came out of my mouth that was not sacred words, right? I didn't want to use an unconscious tongue. So we created a marriage journal. And so he was able to write out right then and there what he needed to say. I was able to be with myself and then write out what I needed to say. We both read it and then we could come together and love in a loving way, right? Really recognizing what was really going on. So that's one of the tools that we use in our marriage. We haven't needed to do it as much as we did when we first were married. But communication, the intention behind your communication is so important. Is the intention love? Is the intention spiritual growth? Or is the intention fear-based? So be aware that in spiritual partnership, there is a commitment to the spiritual growth and the evolution of the soul, in the sense of your soul is just creating. It's just creating. On a metaphysical level, the soul creates whatever it is without any judgment, right? So be present, have the conversation, be in communication, decide what is your level of co-commitment, decide what is it that we're co-creating in spiritual partnership with each other. So I said a mouthful today. I think that was more than a sip, but I hope that was helpful, and we're going to continue with this series. Please continue to send in your questions. Please continue to make suggestions or have questions for clarity. I love it. I love it. Keep it coming. So today we are in a good vibe. Good vibe. I love, and I love spiritual partnership. And in spiritual partnership, there's a lot of good vibes. There's a lot of good vibes. So vibe on yourself, because the most important relationship is your relationship with your higher source, and your relationship with yourself in relationship to your higher source, and your relationship with your significant other. So peace and blessings. I love you much. Thank you all for being with me today live. Have a wonderful day and enjoy.